My little pumpkin friend, he likes to go on walks. He does almost everything, but he just cannot talk. This morning he went off the rails, little pumpkin friend he cried. 'Cause when November comes around, little pumpkin friend will die.
Weird Crime Facts, Part 2. The young man on the left broke into his neighbor's house wielding a knife and threatened to kill the old man. But 72-year-old Frank Cordy happened to be a former boxing champion, and he gave the burglar a lawful beatdown. The Antwerp diamond heist in 2003 was one of the biggest robberies in history. A Belgian man stole $100 million in diamonds after bypassing 10 levels of high security. He had almost gotten away with it, but was convicted via DNA evidence on a salami sandwich that he'd left near the crime scene. Weird Crime Facts, Part 3. In 1980, autistic savant Marc de Vriest was sentenced to 4 years in prison after quote-unquote stealing tools left to him in his father's will. However, his original sentence has since developed into 34 years after 13 escape attempts, 7 of which were successful. Known as the Houdini of Florida, de Vriest could replicate any key by memorizing their pattern and reconstructing them out of anything available. Serial rapist Billy Milligan had a mental disorder that split his mind into at least 24 different personalities. Each personality featured a different speech pattern, accent, and sitting position. He was famously acquitted in court due to the claim that 2 of his alternate personalities had committed the crimes without Milligan being aware of it. Don't watch this one unless you're ready to cry. In 1939, a mentally disabled 23-year-old man named Joe Arity was falsely accused of the rape and murder of a teenage girl. He was sentenced to death in Colorado, and the moments leading to his execution are nothing short of heartbreaking. Joe was known for playing with a toy train given to him by the warden, who called Joe the happiest prisoner on death row. It was clear, however, that Joe didn't understand the situation or his impending execution. For his last meal, he requested ice cream and even saved some for after the execution. He was reported to have smiled while being brought to the gas chamber and was only momentarily nervous until the warden grabbed his hand and reassured him. Arity was officially pardoned 72 years after his death, after evidence had proven that he was coerced into confession. Weird Crime Facts, Part 6. In 1915, convicted Mexican revolutionary Wenceslo Moguel was sentenced to death without a trial. He was shot 9 times by a firing squad, but miraculously survived all 9 bullets. He even survived the coup de grace, one final shot at point-blank range to ensure death. Although in excruciating pain, Moguel waited for his executioners to leave before he fled the scene and made his way to safety. He amazingly lived on for another 60 years, dying at the age of 85. Weird Crime Facts, Part 7. A 45-year-old woman named Christine Barnett adopted a 6-year-old girl in 2010. The woman was recently charged with abandoning her daughter in Indiana and fleeing to Canada back in 2013. However, Barnett claims that her daughter is actually a 22-year-old sociopath with dwarfism who is pretending to be a child. She also claims that the girl has attempted to kill her on multiple occasions. She says the girl has tried to push her into an electric fence, has poured bleach into her coffee, and has threatened to stab her in her sleep. The woman claims that the adoption was a scam and that the girl was actually born in 1989. Weird Crime Facts, Part 8. A man walked into a Walmart wearing an employee vest and told the cashier they were wanted in the office. He then helped the remaining customer in line, emptied the cash register, and walked right out with the money. He likely robbed other Walmart locations this exact same way. This weapon is called the Apache revolver. They were used by the French game Les Apaches in the early 1900s. It is the concept of a pepperbox revolver, a knuckle duster, and a dual-edged knife all built into one. In one of his interviews, serial killer Richard Ramirez once said, "When I die, I want to be buried with sunglasses on and my hands tied behind my head, so when I deteriorate, I'll be the chillest skeleton in the graveyard."